Here we're dealing with some problems that involve the circumference of a circle. And in case you need a little refresher on that, the circumference is the distance all the way around the outside. So if you started here and you went all the way around back to where you started, the circumference would be that distance. If you were walking, it would be that distance you walked from one point in the circle all the way around to the same point again. The formula for the circumference is based on the radius. So remember, the radius is half of the diameter, so it's that distance from the center of the circle out to the edge. And the formula for the circumference is 2 times pi times the radius, or 2 pi r. And that's what we'll be using in these problems. The first one says, find the circumference of a circle with a radius of 5 feet, and use 3.14 for pi. Pi is one of those irrational numbers, so the decimal goes on forever. They're just simplifying it here down to 3.14 and telling us that's as accurate as we need to be. So what we do here, we take that radius, we just plug it in for r, and we get the circumference equals 2 times pi times 5. And then we can chug that out on our calculator. 2 times 5 is 10. Well, maybe we don't need a calculator for this one, because 10 times 3.14, I would just move the decimal place 1, and it would be 31.4. And that was feet. Let's try another one. This one says, if a circle has a diameter of 6 inches, what is the circumference, rounded to the nearest whole number? And again, use 3.14 for pi. And here you've got to be a little careful. Remember, our formula is circumference equals 2 pi r. And you might be tempted to plug that 6 in for r, but 6 is not the radius. 6 is the diameter. Diameter is the distance all the way across the circle. Radius is half of that. So we're going to plug in 3 instead of 6. So 2 times pi times 3. That would be 6 times pi, or 6 times 3.14, and I think that would be 18.84, but they wanted this rounded to the nearest whole number, so this would be circumference equals 19, and this was inches. All right, let's look at one more here. This one says, if the circumference of a circle is 78 pi centimeters, so 78 times pi, this is, you could calculate this out to be a decimal, but they're giving it to us as 78 times pi, then what is the radius? So it's the same formula, but in this case we're not solving for c. We have c. They're telling us c is 78 pi. So let's just go ahead and plug that in, 78 pi, and remember our formula is circumference equals 2 times pi times r. So that equals 2 times pi times r. And we want to find r here. Well, if you wanted to find r, what you'd need to do is divide by this number out here. And pi is a number. It's just a symbol in place of a number. So I'm going to divide by 2 pi, dividing by 2 and pi at the same time here. Got to do that to both sides. Over here, the 2 pi will cancel, and we'll just get r. Over here, well, actually, I can cancel out the pi's. So this really just comes down to 78 divided by 2. So r is going to equal 39. And let's see, they told us centimeters, so 39 centimeters. So those are a few problems involving circumference.